Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. Grab a drink, sit back, and relax.
Buy high, sell low.
At least one of those.
The stonks go up.
Stonks only go up.
Only go up.
There's nowhere else for them to go.
Nowhere.
Diamond hands to the moon.
You don't lose anything until you sell anyway.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy, it's KonKon. Back at it again. We are in the cantina. We are drinking drinks, and we are going to be doing episode 65.
Doing talkings.
Doing talkings.
Saying things.
As always, the Puerto Rican man sitting sitting across from me.
Number one PR boy.
The number one, the PR man himself.
My name is Stonk Lord Justin Baker.
Stonk. And the returning guest sitting diagonally.
I am the gallbladderless wonder.
Making his triumphant return.
Did they give you a jar?
From the icing.
They told me never have Smirnoff Ice again, ever.
Ever. Like, not doing it no more. No. They were like, this is the direct cause.
Yes, that's actually what they told me.
I mean, I believe it.
See, if you missed that episode a few months ago, was it months ago?
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
That was the last appearance of the camping comedian.
Yeah.
He took part in an icing from one of our listeners who shipped us some...
One of our Pantinos.
Our Paisano Pantinos.
Yes.
He
Dylan.
shipped us some big boy, tall boy Smirnoff ices and iced us live on the air.
No,
I brought them
and then he brought the
myself.
6-pack.
And then he brought...
I brought the 6-pack.
We got double iced on the same episode.
Well, we do have something new and exciting. I'm debating on...
We have
sorry.
to explain what happened to him.
Yes.
The next day, he went into the hospital.
The next day, I woke up and I was like, I feel pretty good. And then about 45 minutes to an hour later, I was throwing up everything I've ever eaten ever.
And got his gallbladder removed.
Went to the hospital. They put me on a bunch of painkillers. 2 days later, I was getting things removed from my body. And 2 weeks later, I was back at work and back in action.
Shout out to our listeners.
You know,
Technology.
I know somebody who wouldn't have been back to work that quickly.
Me too.
Yeah. I think we all know somebody like
For
that.
sure. There's always one in every company.
Yeah, for sure.
Paper-handed baby.
What?
He probably has ridges in his brain.
Dude, Paper Mario is a
Smooth brain
horrible
Dave.
game. I don't know why you made me think of that.
Paper Mario was
Paper
an
Mario's
awesome
awesome.
game. What are you talking about?
You don't like
It's
Paper
a hard
Mario?
pass, no. Okay, good. Like if we're comparing it to other Mario games, you think like it's up there? It's an upper echelon for you as
It's
as
not upper
a Mario
echelon
game?
from Mario games, but it's unique and fun.
Yes.
It's not a bad game.
It is fun. It was fun. Nobody plays that anymore.
Housekeeping.
Number one Mario podcast.
We do have shirts coming. If you are in the Patreon group, you have seen the previews of some of the
Yes.
shirts that
Some
we
of
have
the
coming.
artwork is out there floating around.
Yes, it is floating around. Very excited about that coming. Of course, you can follow us at KonKon's Cantina at the following: YouTube, where all of our videos, we try to make them go live Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, where we are most active. If you would like to work with us and this podcast, please email us at konkonscantina@gmail.com. Of course, the Facebook group and the Discord. Guys, you can find the Discord link in the link tree, which is in the bio of all of our social media and, of course, Twitter.
Linktree points you to everywhere.
It does.
If we had one link to give out, hit the link tree and you can be directed to anything and anywhere that we have a presence.
linktr.ee/KonKon's Cantina. That will be your link to absolutely everything. How you can support this podcast. Obviously, please like and share this podcast. We are mainly discovered by word of mouth, so sending this to people that would like this, whether they like Marvel or they like Star Wars, whatever the case may be, that is how we grow mostly. We have outgrown our algorithm of podcast for Apple.
If you want to support the podcast, buy and hold. Stonks.
Buy and hold. You know where else you can buy and hold?
GME AMC, get at us.
You can also buy and
moon.
hold on our Patreon.
Yes.
You can buy and hold starting at the $3 tier, which gives you access to the exclusive content. We did just post our first exclusive Patreon episode. It was 3.5 hours long.
Is a glorious hot mess.
It's a roller coaster of emotions. It is literally Ron Swanson trapped in a glass case with spoiled milk and people singing. And
I have not had that much fun in a hot minute.
We did have fun.
That was... Spoiler, we opened the episode with a song.
What did we third weekend in March is when we're trying to get together to do the next one?
Yep.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
And this also gives you access to calling in.
Burps are starting. I'm trying to keep the burp in, and
Listen,
it's like
Niles.
Just keep it together, okay?
Dang it, I drank beer.
Rate this podcast, guys. Please, 5 stars is what we seek. We finally, we made it, Justin. We
Yeah.
got our first 1-star review.
Shout out to that nameless person.
Dude, yeah, that's the best thing is like to have the ability to click 1 star and not leave a review like literally blows my mind because I would love to talk about it.
Right.
Because like if you feel so strongly, like you get a hater, you've made it.
For sure.
Right? For sure what?
It's like when you get a hater, like you've
Oh
done
yeah,
it.
you're there.
Let's
You're
dive
there.
deeper into that. Like, what do you think they couldn't like about this? I mean, this
Oh,
is
a
the
lot of
perfect
things.
Probably
podcast.
most of the things I
Yeah,
say.
yeah, exactly. And this review comes from Hanging with Finn. Always a good laugh as they start off. Great podcast for even the casual Star Wars fans. And the best of all is it is family friendly. You never know what is going to come out with these two. Love it. Keep it up. So thank you for that 5-star review and leaving the comment. We very much appreciate that. The agenda of this podcast is
gonna
we
be a
are
good one.
It is. I'm excited about this one. Our special segment is we're going to be talking about why we need a Solo 2. It seems like at least
Prove us wrong.
yeah.
That is so deserved.
Stop.
I like it. He's taking the opposite
Hey,
stance.
you know what? Let's do it. So why we need a Solo 2, and then of course we will be talking about Cantina of Heroes.
Cantina of Heroes.
Of Heroes what? Because it's possessive apostrophe S. Or
No, there's going to be more than one hero.
Yeah, come on, dude, get
then
with
it would
it.
be ES, not an apostrophe.
We are a Cantina podcast, so we're gonna go into the Cantina right now.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
This week, I am drinking House Tyrell from the Game of Thrones Scotch collection. Not a big Scotch person. This was one that I haven't tried. I thought that I had officially opened all the bottles yet, but apparently I haven't. This is a single malt. Some of the like percentages and facts about it. It's 51%, which is it's a little bit on the higher side. You know, I'd say average is like 45. I like this one. It's not overly peaty.
It's got a dark color for a Scotch, too.
Do you want to try it?
Sure.
It's not overly peaty because you're more of a Scotch person than me, so you'll give a better review than me. I'm not a big peat person, but
It's got really nice legs on it.
Does
Like
it?
I noticed it when you just handed it to me. It's got really awesome legs on this.
I think this one is like super deep, and I like that. You're such. I like on the back end, like I don't know, it's nice and deep on the back end. Like I get a little bit of burn
it's
on the back.
It's very light up front, but it's got a strong finish, and it's like very rich. Like you said,
Yeah.
deep. Yeah, like it. That is really good.
It's almost super. It's whiskey-ish. You know, it's almost not even. I almost said Scottish, but
It's very Scottish Scotch.
and when Scotch gets more towards that whiskey area instead of like the super
Unique
peaty-
flavors.
yeah, it's not overly smoky. This is really good for me. I'm 8 out of 10. For
Yeah,
me
and
on this one.
Like you were saying, like it's different enough from a whiskey or a bourbon that it still tastes unique.
Yeah.
But it doesn't enter that level of the smoky, heavy peated Scotch. I think this is a great, easy drinking Scotch. I'm
Yeah.
very surprised. I've not had that before. That's so. What's the price point on that? Because I know there's a lot of range in that Game of Thrones collector series.
So I don't know what it was. The retail price has changed from when there was hype with the show. It came out with season 8 with the finale, so a lot of the prices have changed. But right now, you can get it at Total Wine for $65. I mean, I for $65 in the Scotch division, I would have to drink more to know more.
You know what it makes me want to do is explore. What's the name of this bottle? Who's the distillery?
Kleinisch.
Kleinlich.
Kleinisch.
It makes me want
Scotch,
to.
but we think it's German apparently.
Da. That's Russian.
Oh. Got him. Close
But
enough.
it makes me want to explore this. Like maybe find another bottle, find something else that they have, and give that a try and see where it sits compared to this. Because the only thing I can really compare it to is like the Lagavulin. That was it was like a $60 to $70 bottle. It was good, but not.
Try this one more time, and then I'm going to read you the description.
It sounds like the monster.
The Lagavulin was good, but not nearly as good as the regular Lagavulin. But it was cheaper.
and that's even then. I don't think the Game of Thrones Lagavulin was worth the price point. The one that's a whole nother thing. So now that you've tasted it again, this is. I'm not getting this. I feel like maybe it's because I still don't know scotches enough. But before sipping, it's supposed to be sweet vanilla notes, which I do get that on 100%. Smelling. It finishes sweet with notes of floral that have a warm blend of citrus, and it also has a waxy behind.
I don't get the waxy. I do get the floral sweet finish.
Yeah, I get the floral, especially like
the floral. I think the richness that we were saying is it's that floral. Like it's a complex finish on this.
Yeah, and also it brought out flavors such as pineapple and mango.
The citrus, but I don't know.
It's really sharp. It's really sharp on the nose. Anyway, I said 8 out of 10. This is super good for me. I'm not a big Scotch person, but this is good to me.
It's going to be a name that's going to stick in my head that I'm going to look for a bottle next time I'm at a liquor store.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking another Lagunitas product. I tend to always like Lagunitas. This is the surprise, the Hazy Wonder IPA. This is
you drinking a hazy? Never.
No.
I don't do that.
This again, I will show this on the camera. Or Connor, you can show this on the camera. The artwork sold me.
Oh yeah,
just the color scheme.
We're suckers for the artwork.
It's kind of like pastel blue, pastel teal, and pinks and purples. It's an awesome. It's got a picture of I don't know what that looks like. Is that what do you say? A boxer? Some type of pepperoni up on there.
No, it's a dog.
Okay, it's a Doge. Invest in Dogecoin right now.
If you can,
it's going to the moon right now as we're watching. That's a different subject. This is a very bland IPA. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to say bland as a negative or bland as in a sessionable IPA. The percentage is a 6% dead even. I don't know how I feel about this. Matt, have you tried it yet? I haven't. I gave you one to try. Crack one of those open.
Well, that was a good pop.
It's
not much on the nose.
It's kind of just...
Lagunitas is really hit or miss for me. Yeah. I feel like a lot of their stuff tastes very, very similar to one another. Like, there's not a big distinction between... Like, if you handed me Little Something Something, and then you handed me another one of their double IPAs, I'd be like, oh, thanks, another Little Something Something, especially if you poured it out. You don't think so?
Not side by side.
I don't think so. This
has a floral note up front.
I would call this... This isn't where their label is, and you can't really call it a session because it's 6%. I would call this a session hazy IPA as far as the taste profile goes, because it's not in your face. It's not super dank. There's nothing. There's no bite to it, but it is good. It's just kind of mellow. Mellow is a good word.
Yeah, a lot
Mando
of flavor,
score too.
A lot of flavor up front, but it just dies.
Yeah, I give this a 6. I think realistically, it's not negative, but it's not great. 6.
6 out of 10. Now we will be getting. Oh well, this is what you're drinking too,
no,
Matt.
It's not.
Oh, man. What are you drinking?
I am drinking the brand new Mountain Dew flavor, zero sugar, Major Melon.
No, not that one. It's that one.
Well, whatever camera. That's what I meant to do.
There you go, baby.
Major Melon.
That one, right next to the other one.
That's what you were doing.
Yes.
If you guys couldn't tell, I just started rambling a lot because Connor kept getting up and I didn't know what he was doing, so I was just saying words.
I was getting the beer cam ready.
This is
drink
Dew charged with watermelon, and it literally tastes like you're drinking a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
That sounds disgusting.
It's perfect for if you want a little pick-me-up before going into battle with your Mandalorian friends.
I would love to do like 2 ounces of that with 2 ounces of tonic. With gin and some lime
it has
and
a lot of
shot
flavor.
of Mountain Dew flavored vodka.
Dude, that's $1 million idea. Tito's, get us some Mountain Dew flavored vodka. Is
it
good?
You've never had?
No, I've never had that.
They
came out with this amazing cucumber melon.
Don't say cucumber.
I know you don't.
I give it pre-battle 10 out of 10 Mandos.
Pre-battle. So after battle, does that change?
After battle, you're not having a zero sugar Mountain Dew. You're having a real drink.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense.
Do you really give that a 10 out of 10? So,
it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. It brings you back to high school.
Point is that 10 out of 10?
all the way, man.
I can only say
there's
he
nothing
needs to rate
there
this
could be
in a-
nothing more major or more melon about this. It's exactly what it says it is, and it
I
is
mean, it makes
energy.
sense.
It tastes like you're about to have fun.
Smooth-brained ape.
It's
full spectrum smooth-brained ape.
the full spectrum of flavor.
Guys, we're going to go into our special segment now. And we were talking, why do we need Solo 2? Now, I'm going to kick this off.
Okay.
I was very disappointed with Last Jedi. And I was one of the people that said I will not give Disney my money. I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I would not buy a ticket. And shout outs to Magistrate Russell. Because the only reason I saw Solo,
I love the flip of the script on that.
he goes, Connor, we have to see. It's a Star Wars movie. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to see it. Not after Last Jedi. I'm not doing it. He's like, come on. We'll go to West Orange 5, little family theater, by the way, in Central
They
Florida.
sell big gulps of beer.
Dude, they sell 32-ounce beers for $6. Anyway, shout outs to them.
Oh, man.
Does
You know
anyone
what?
remember when Sonny's and Apopka had they would fill the 32 ounce with Sonny's Red for $6?
All of my money's
No.
Best.
all of my money's invested in AMC right now. I want to invest in some West Orange. How can I do that?
Yeah.
My AMC monies are going to go to a donation.
So he's like, I'll buy your ticket. Let's go. So I went, and I loved it.
Nice.
I'm glad to say, it gets funnier. James, hey, have you seen Solo? Yeah, I saw it. It's pretty good. He's like, you want to go? I'm like,
James, the
yeah.
$10,000 investor.
$10,000 investor. He's like, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. I go. He pays for my ticket. I never paid to see Solo, but it was worth
That's
it.
the best way to support a movie you like.
Listen, hey, the tickets were purchased. It just wasn't purchased by me. The movie was great, and I was of the people who was like, this movie's gonna suck. There's no way.
I
And
loved it, too.
I loved it. You said eh.
No, I liked it a lot. I'm just messing.
The-
Counterpointing.
The thing that I liked about that movie was my initial reactions was this was a heist movie
Yes.
done in the Star Wars universe that didn't waste time. I shouldn't say waste time. That didn't dedicate time to Jedi. This was the same universe that everything else is going on, but it's like, here's this little pocket of things that can happen that are regular people doing regular things,
Yeah.
and living their regular lives, and not like mystic, you are the chosen one level of storytelling.
If you had to pick, did any of you have a favorite character? Before we get into why we need a second one, because I immediately have a favorite character, and it's Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I mean,
He killed it. Like, I'm upset that
he got killed at the end.
Yeah, he dies, and I would have liked to have seen his character progress. I guess there's room for comics. There's other things to see more about his character, but he's like this bounty hunter,
and
criminal.
the story of like that's where Han gets his DL-44 from. Like, is like
and the fact that it's
a rifle and it's like pieces together.
as Destiny players, it's the perfect definition of a hand cannon. It's not supposed to be a gun. It's not supposed to be a pistol.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a sniper rifle. And that was like something that we learned in the movie. That's like he's
Yeah.
disassembling this rifle that he picked up off a dead Imperial, off some other
Yep.
mission, or they got it from the Imperial camp where they were taking the ship to do their heist. But Woody Harrelson's character was just amazing.
A Mimbin trooper.
Yeah, and also the fact that he kills Aurora Singh. Like there's so much backstory that I want to know. Donald Glover kills it. Like the movie as a whole, everybody
Young Lando was, and
perfect.
the representation of a young Han Solo. Like we've said this on
I
multiple
don't understand the
episodes.
hate that he gets. I don't get it.
I like if you like the character study that he had to do to get his mannerisms and the way he's talking, like the cock of his mouth,
This is a family
like
podcast,
like
right?
the way like his smirk is,
Yeah.
the way his eyes, like just the little mannerisms that he does that doesn't involve the way he emotes that doesn't involve saying a single word.
Yeah.
But he resonates that he's Han Solo so well. Like I'd love to see more of that.
The bluffing that he does, like at the end of the movie where they're talking to Infant's Nest, and he's like,
Oh yeah, and
he's like, you see that ship over there? One snap of my fingers. Hired gun, surrounded in the. It just Falcon just flies away because Lando's had it. Like there's so much about that movie. Matt, anything?
I
Nothing.
So
I mean, I
Solid
like.
guess. Solid
I
guess.
totally. I enjoyed the movie. Nothing stands out to me that is like, oh my goodness, I have to see.
When was the last
another
time you
one.
watched it?
About in November, because remember I went through and watched everything.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
November of
So you even
2020.
Recently rewatched it.
Yes.
You got nothing that.
No,
like,
I liked it a lot. It felt like two movies in one because of the Woody Harrelson storyline on top of what else was going on. It didn't feel it. It felt like it was two episodes in one or something like that. I don't know if I'm getting that across the way that I mean to, but it was fun. I'm a little tired of the couple that's separated and then find each other, can't be together.
Did you like that? That to me is like another layer of Han Solo, though, because he's like so resistant almost to.
he's almost like love
Jaded.
scorned. Like he's a scorned lover. Like he doesn't want to try.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see a little bit of that development in its early stage of why he became that way.
Unpopular opinion.
No, I mean I get all that.
Cara is better than Princess Leia.
Kiara, you mean?
Cara.
Wait,
Cara.
Cara Dune?
Kira.
Kira.
Oh, Kira.
Listen, there's too many.
I thought it
Do
was
you not
Kira.
even know what?
Yeah, Kira.
I guess we just said it different.
It's Kira.
What did you think it was?
I don't know.
Justin?
Did I
Kira.
did say Cara. No, Kira. Anyway, her character
Yeah.
liked it better than
Then Princess Leia?
for Han. Yeah.
Oh, for her.
Oh, for
yeah,
Han.
like for Han.
But they still didn't work out in the end. I mean, he can't close the deal long term.
Yeah. I don't know if I would agree with that.
I just didn't really like the whole droid in love with Glover.
I thought that was funny.
It works. Okay, no.
I thought it was funny.
Why?
Okay, but you know what is cool? This is super deep information.
Uh-huh.
But why can I don't have any facts in front of me. The name of that droid
L337.
L337 goes
Elite.
on to start an entire droid revolution and has an entire droid army of droids fighting against basically droid slavery.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
Are we not going to talk about how the call letters for that droid are LEET?
No, well that would be L33T.
L337 is the
T can be a 7.
I know in Leet speak it's not a 7 in Leet speak. Is it? Oh, Leet speak is that is such a callback to like the 90s.
Where
I don't
do you
know.
think they got the number from? It's obvious. It's obviously a plant. You don't just come up with L337. It means LEET. That's why it's in there. Someone did that.
L3. Yeah, I mean the whole robot love thing, that was whatever to me. Like I didn't really care about that. The coolest
I didn't really
thing,
care either. I love the movie. I'm just being that way.
I liked that.
Just trying to be different.
When
I like it.
when they put L3 in the Falcon, we get the callback in our Empire Strikes Back where
when it's merged into the Falcon's like
AI
for lack of better terms.
Yeah, C-3PO comes to Han Solo and says, "Where did your ship learn to communicate? It has the most peculiar dialect." And I don't know, it's crazy because it's cool because when we first meet Donald Glover and then we meet L3, you know, they're in the ring and the whole fighting thing, and he talks about that he won't wipe her memory because she has the most elite navigational out of anybody in the universe.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of like an R2 situation.
And that's what I was going to bring up. It's like an R2 situation. Why I need this next movie. First of all, Emilia Clarke killed it.
Yes.
Alden as Han Solo killed it.
And I get angry every time people say the opposite of that.
Donald
Like,
Glover.
I don't know what they wanted. Like, if you didn't want that, I don't know what you wanted.
Yeah. It's not like we're not going to get... I'm glad that Alden still was his own Han Solo, and it wasn't somebody pretending to be young Harrison Ford.
Yeah, because like Han Solo, the character, would be similar, but not the same as you see him in both incarnations that you see, where you see young Han Solo in the original trilogy, old man Han Solo in the sequel trilogy. At this point in time, he's not the same person. His entire personality. I mean, who were you, like both of you, when you're 17 or 18? When you're in your early 20s, when you're in your 30s, you're always a different version of yourself. So to expect him to be the exact same thing would be just silly.
Yeah.
But that's what some people want. They just can't get over it.
Yeah, it is what some people want.
I mean, kind of the same thing we had with Luke. Everybody wanted Return of the Jedi Luke but like a little bit older. They didn't want the new old man Luke that had been through everything he had been with.
Yeah, no, I agree. Some more callbacks for this movie, and we should get on topic as to why we want this second movie. Which
Darth Maul, leader of a crime syndicate. Let's go.
how was Maul's return?
The biggest, happiest shock ever.
Yeah.
Like, that was a mic drop.
We were
that
teased
movie.
that there was going to be a huge cameo appearance for the end of that movie, and a lot of people thought Maul, Obi-Wan, like they're the only two people in that timeline that could have been like that mic drop type thing. Maul with his robotic leg standing up at the end. At any point in the movie, did you figure out who it was going to be?
No.
I did. And it's because Kira tells L3 when she goes into the room and takes out the guy with the keys and stabs him in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And L3 goes, whoa. And she's like, and then Woody Harrelson comes in and he's like, where did you learn that? She goes, Terrace Kasi. Terrace Kasi is
the fighting style
that
from
Darth Maul
yeah.
uses. Yeah. So that right there.
Is it Dathomirian, or is it just the style that he uses?
I can't remember if it's particularly
Shout out to the
Dathomirian.
worst,
Trandoshan
best fighting
had it.
game, Masters of Terrace
Oh
Kasi.
my god, that
We
is
have tried to
the
play it
worst.
recently.
The
and
worst.
It is
horrible.
not what I remember it.
When she said Terrace Kasi, I was like, okay, Darth Maul. Like we have ties
That was
to
a
Darth
great
Maul.
moment for me. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a deep cut, like from the EU that was brought. That was like brought in so like just
Yeah.
like passive word. Like, nobody's gonna know it if you don't know. But when you hear that, you're like, oh my god, Terrace Kasi. That's an awesome callback.
My Trandoshan pistolier in Star Wars Galaxies learned the ways of the Terrace Kasi.
He knew Terrace Kasi. Did he teach you how to talk into a microphone too?
No, he didn't. No,
Okay.
never has.
All right, just
No,
making
could
sure.
you guys teach me right now, please? How do you do this?
We
We
need to get
have
that guy a lapel mic.
a couple of our friends need lapel mics.
Are we going to talk about merch or what?
No, we're going to talk about now that there's a Lando show announced. Do you think that this is replacing the possible hopes of getting another Han Solo 2? Because this
haven't
is like a financial. This is not a success in Disney terms. It made money, but this isn't a success for them. This
Yeah, it's
isn't
not
like
buku money.
This
Yeah.
isn't breaking the box
Not
office.
GME to the moon money.
Yeah.
Stonks only go up. That's not what this is. But so now that we're getting a Lando show, do you still want a Solo 2, or do you think that this is going to continue in the Lando show?
I
We-
never wanted a Solo 2.
We've never gotten a confirmation of who's playing Lando, have we?
No, we haven't.
Like-
I mean, it better be
It's
Donald
gotta be
Glover.
Glover.
If it's
It has
not
to be.
Donald Glover and
He's
there's a
not doing
third,
anything else anyway right now.
because Billy D. Williams, there's no way. The only Billy D. Williams version of the show is Old Man Billy Weed.
Yes.
God.
What are you doing?
Old Man Billy D. Williams at the end with Jana when like
Jaina.
Jana? It's Jana.
I don't know what it is.
It's Jannah. That's
Continue.
Jana. Two N's make a short vowel. Jana at the end of the movie
guy's
where
teaching
he's kind of
English.
looking for her parents.
Yeah.
Because she was
Do you
stolen
care?
away.
Like,
No,
I don't care.
But I'm
That's-
saying
that's
if it's not Donald Glover,
yeah.
I feel like there can't be a third. It has to be Billy D. Williams or Donald Glover.
Yeah.
That's the only version of an old man that I can think of. There's way more possibilities with Donald Glover, and I don't think he's got much. Childish Gambino ain't got new tracks coming out.
No, but he does have the possibilities of being live action Prowler in in a new Spider-Man movie.
He's too small for Prowler.
I think he dropped a hint with his new video, This is Corellia.
What?
He's making a "This Is an America" joke that just really fell flat. He tried though. Anyway,
At least he used the microphone
Better
that
than
time.
it's better than Dilly V. Williams.
yeah, pretty much.
Listen, these little
These session
hazies-
IPAs are just really getting to me.
mushmouth.
Alden. We already said that Alden, we felt, did an amazing job, actually being Han Solo. With this continuation of the story, he talked about going to seeing the Hutt Syndicate, the Hutt Gang with Chewbacca. What kind of expectations did that set for you? Because it set expectations for me. I mean, this is a huge thing that's like right off the rip. We meet Han Solo in A New Hope. He makes the deal for transport, and then he's like, this could really save my neck. Like, right off the rip, this character is tied to this prison that he's connected for, made for himself.
He's already got in bad with the Hutts
Yeah.
early. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know exactly what. I would have liked to see a live adaptation of some different Hutts. because we get to see some animated versions of it. It would have been cool to not go straight to where everybody's first thought is Jabba.
Yeah, exactly.
But do some different huts and like show, because they're like different colors, different sizes. Jabba was gluttonous and fat. There are huts that weren't as big. I mean, they were big, period, but they're not as big as him. It would have been a cool kind of.
They have a EU reputation of being agile, very strong. It's like you said, he's like a king. He's the Hutt.
Yeah, he's like the gluttonous.
He's the
big
king,
fat king version of
exactly.
So it would have been cool, like if they got into kind of the Hutt crime syndicate, because we never explored that in live action in any way.
Imagine we have Han going to Tatooine doing this job, and Hutt tells him,
Tatooine.
Not only are you doing this job, but you're going to be doing this job against other people. We have a
competition.
We have a Too Fast, Too Furious scenario where they have to
Tokyo Drift,
where they have to race to get to.
I like it.
To get to the drugs. You know what I'm talking about,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And who's there?
Ejecto seat, cuz.
Boba Fett.
Oh.
Boba Fett has already established himself with
teenage
Boba Fett already has his armor, has the Slave One. We get other people, maybe Dengar, right?
Youngish Dengar, not old man Dengar.
Before he's burned, because well, at this point Han Solo would have probably burned him up. That's all EU stuff. But I'm just saying, like, imagine we get to the Hutt Palace and we're seeing the Hutt Palace before.
A way to bring back some of the cameos in a cool way of the Empire Bounty Hunter Guild that you see on the Star Destroyer deck.
We get maybe another. That'd be maybe too much fan service. We get another Rancor scene, or something like that. The expectations that it built up for me is I need to see. I want to know what this job is. I want to know what specifically it was, because we were making jokes in the Facebook group this weekend about the Martez sister arc. But remember how like the youngest Martez sister like destroys all of the spice, something of Han Solo's job that he was hired by Jabba goes wrong, and why don't we have those details? Like, we get the details of the Kessel Run,
so kind of going along with what you're saying, what are those details? My one problem with this movie is
that doesn't exist.
Well, I'm thinking of the first one. I'm going back to the first one. My problem with the first one that I struggled with is it's hard for me to like think back and remember like what was their goal. Like you got like they stole the fuel in the beginning.
Yes.
Something about fuel kind of through the movie. Like it I don't know, like the reason that they were doing everything was kind of all over the place. And I think that could be something that people struggle with.
Well, at this point he's a deserter for the Empire.
Yeah. And then he's trying to steal fuel again at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, if we get a second movie, is it still this pursuit of, at that point, Han's point and goal in life was to get back to Kira? Mm-hmm. Is that still the goal? Like, because she goes away on the sail barge, right? Mm-hmm. Dryden Voss's sail barge, which, by the way, shout out to Vision.
Got killed again.
Dude, he killed... Okay, so this movie, when they started doing the reshoots, he was supposed to be an alien. And when... I can't think of his name. Howard. When Howard got involved to do the reshoots, they didn't have the budget to continue the CGI, so they hired. I'm blanking on his name.
Vision.
Yeah, Vision's name.
Paul
Bettany. Thank you. To be brought in to be Dryden Voss, and they added like he's some sort of a humanoid alien because when
like
he gets mad,
like a weird fish gill version of it, one that they added crap to.
Yeah, he gets like that veiny look on his face. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like what the alien looked like.
Oh no, okay. I just meant like they he was so
expressive with his. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. They bring Paul in and he killed it. It's just another performance in the movie that kills it. Just harping back to what you said, it's like what's the point of this next movie? Like, what's Solo's goal? Like, was this enough to jade him where we get the Solo that we get in A New Hope? Or does more happen in an expansion of his story?
It'd be cool to get, like, a Solo and, oh my gosh, what's Lando, like, kind of doing something together, and then something that, like, drives them apart. Which kind of would explain, like, hey, old buddy, old pal, like, we were really close, but something obviously happened.
I feel like the last time that they see each other is that last version.
When he wins the ship.
When he wins the ship. I don't think that they see each other ever again, Because remember, he says, what have you done to my ship? Your ship, my ship. I won her fair and square. So it's kind of like, that's what I got, which, once again, that's just a great there's so many things that we've said on the show that tie the bow.
Yeah.
And there were so many things about in that movie that tied a bow and was like really, really good. But I need a continuation of like leading a crime syndicate mall.
If they did it in the show, in the Lando
Yeah, I think
show, that would be
best place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think so too.
If we could even get like a appearance of another young Han back in the show, whether it's like a full arc of story, it doesn't necessarily need to be, but just seeing their interaction again, if it is in fact a young version of Lando in the new Lando show, I think that's a great compromise and kind of giving everybody what they want.
How did you feel about Enfys Nest?
Enfy's Nest was
What?
Enfy's Nest?
Okay.
ENFY. Enfy's Nest.
Yeah, it sounded weird.
Yeah, I think that it was a weird thing. I liked their ships and their speeders and all that stuff was an awesome scene. But the whole like, I don't know, the mask and her like being like a young teen child was weird.
I liked it because like her mom was like the first rebel, you know, because she was doing this for her mom. You know, she establishes that, and I would just like to see, you know, it harkens back like we were talking to Travis today about Rebels.
Yes,
you know, and
he just finished Rebels, and he's like, "My God, this is amazing."
Yeah, and there's so much about like Ahsoka bringing together these cells of people who are trying to fight the Empire.
rebel cells,
and they're one of the first ones.
Yeah,
you know, like I would like to see more of that, but
they don't even really spend time teaching you that.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
though. Like, hopefully that could get explored somehow. I hope that the Lando show incorporates more of young Solo and the continuation of that story. I also want another movie. I think that another movie could be done with him, with Chewbacca, full length. I think that certain things can stay with movies, full length movies, and then because once again it's the Lando show. So you say Lando show, to me that doesn't scream Han Solo. It's Lando.
The where I'd like to see the Lando show end up is the series finale ends with him negotiating with Darth Vader on Cloud City before
Yeah,
they show
because
up.
that's
That would be perfect.
yeah. They
You
showed
don't
up right
know-
before you
yeah.
did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That would be a great idea.
that would be a great idea.
Because Donald Glover could still play a young Billy D.
Oh, yeah,
Williams
for sure.
easily.
Yeah, pray I
Or-
don't alter it further. Yeah,
I love that idea.
I'm full for it.
Whenever, like, have we heard if that's like a guaranteed number of seasons? Like
No, absolutely nothing.
Not
There's
like-
not even a release date.
Okay, like we heard Obi-Wan is what? Obi-Wan is definitely one season.
Yes,
Is what I read.
Yes.
Which at this point I can't remember.
that's a mini series at that point.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference between a TV show and a mini series.
But, I mean, Ewan McGregor, it would be hard to lock him down
Yeah. Like for a continual TV series that could
Right.
Why do you
get
say that?
prolonged.
because he's got so many other projects.
Does he?
That he's
No,
he's
I
guess
always
I don't
being
follow
pitched.
him
He's
enough
always
to-
being pitched. He's in a million different movies all the time.
Yeah, he's in a ton of stuff, and
he's
he does
a very
a ton
accomplished
of
actor outside of Star
live
Wars.
action, a ton of on stage, and a ton of movies, and a ton of voice acting and voiceovers.
He's like
too.
this generation's Kenneth Branagh, basically.
Yeah, that guy that nobody's heard of. That he
Everyone's
just said.
heard of him. He's like the most famous Shakespearean
Oh yeah.
to live screen actor.
Yes,
but whatever.
our
No
audience
one's
is
ever heard of that.
definitely like number one thing is Star Wars and Shakespeare.
Guys, at this time, it is time to go into the Cantina of Heroes.
Welcome to the Cantina of Heroes.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Perfect.
I am the knight. I am Batman.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Let the good times roll.
Appar-
Spike Mike crazy.
Apparently, you can't click anywhere on the screen, and it just pauses it. Like,
Like,
God
nope.
forbid. Yeah, guys. Episode 4. Now, revisiting this conversation last week. Now, you said in the Discord, I was not down on the show. I was
you
down.
were 100% down
No,
on the show.
no. I was down on that episode. I still loved episode 1. I still loved episode 2.
I think you need to listen back.
Okay.
You were in a bad mood, and you said, "I talked to somebody, and now I fully
that's
believe
not-
everything they said."
That's not what I said. I said I heard an opinion from Was It Good, and I agreed that
It wasn't.
What a sheeple.
Listen,
Come on,
sheeple.
sheeple.
Let's just get right into this. We've talked about Monica in the show on previous episodes. She was
Rambo.
a huge integral part to this episode. So in this episode, more or less, we get her original MCU story. Now, right off the rip, we get the blip coming back. It's her being where she was when Thanos snapped her fingers, and she's coming back thinking that she's in the hospital with her mom who's dying of cancer.
Which I was watching with Liz, who is fully into the show, and she, as well as a lot of other people, were very confused on the whole timeline jumping and like trying to figure out what's happening.
Yeah. I understood immediately.
I understood immediately, but as like a deeper fan, like I knew like, oh, Dust is coming back. It's the blip. Like I knew exactly when this is.
So you talked about this in the previous episode. Her mom,
Marie? Is Marie Mary? It's another M name.
Maria.
Maria? Is
Yes.
that? Yeah.
and
It's
her
right here in the
nickname,
notes, but okay.
code name was Photon.
Her mom's nickname was?
Yeah, wasn't that what it was?
Yes.
That's what it seemed like in the show. I think they changed it a little bit. So instead of Monica being Photon, it was her mom. Was Photon. So she goes back to Sword headquarters, and she's trying to like reinstate her position where she was before.
'cause
Her
you're
mom was the
finding out-
head of Sword.
Yeah, you find that out that she went on after the end of Captain Marvel to then help start Sword.
I don't have his name. It is Maria Rambo, by the way. It is in the notes. I don't have his name down, but the new director of Sword,
Peyton Reed.
Taylor.
he's the
Something.
bad guy. He's gonna be another villain.
Well,
like
that's
seeing,
an idea. That's because his same last name is the last name of a bad guy that was in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Okay, I don't. First of all, I didn't watch Shield, so I don't know that.
It's a speculation.
I think that he sent her on this mission for the hopes of her disappearing and him continuing to run Sword.
Yeah,
Because she's like, "Yo, I'm here for your job." You know what I mean? Like that's the
there
that's
was
the vibe that I
a little
get.
bit of tension. He's like, "Let me undress the elephant in the room" or something like that. That he
your
said.
mom died, and she put this protocol that
I
if
was the
people
only
came
person
black,
here.
and
Well, she
Did you just say if
the way
you
she
came
said
black?
it. The way she said
If you came black.
it, she told him that he was the one that was qualified, and he was like, "No, I was the only one."
Yeah, he was the only one that was
but
here.
she was,
and then she
but
goes, "Oh, I
felt
wasn't
like-
going to say it."
Yeah, well, yeah, she does say that, but
Well, once again, back to Maria, her mom. Maria Rambo is from Marvel, from Captain Marvel, and she is confirmed to have died due to cancer in between the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Apparently, she worked in S.H.I.E.L.D. as a high-level capacity, which, in my opinion, it seemed that she was the head.
She
of
had like
Sword.
the picture on the wall.
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, some sort. So once again,
Your mom built this place or something like that. That
yeah,
he says.
he constantly talks about it. So through her time in Sword, Maria,
it's kind of iron fisty.
yes, and she also got, like I was saying earlier, in the last episode, was it Monica in the comics that had the nickname Photon?
Yeah, Monica. It wasn't a nickname. That's one of the heroes that she becomes multiple
Okay.
superheroes, and one of them is named Photon.
So once again, MCU kind of has its own new rules, right? And one of those things is that Maria instead of Monica is Photon, not Maria, or not Monica. So it's the mom who's actually Photon, and we actually see that on the plaque. So it literally
really?
says Maria Photon in quotations.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so she like totally gets that. So
I must have not caught that on the plaque. That's awesome.
yeah, so we get like this kind of.
I think she's also Pulsar is another one, and then takes over as Captain Marvel.
We kind of get this in-depth look at Sword headquarters, which looks very Shield-ish. Once again, I've seen bits of Shield. I've never watched the whole show. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's bad.
It's not bad. I mean, it's entertaining.
It's the
Time
CW of the
killer.
Marvel universe.
Yeah.
That's what my way of describing it.
You've said that, which is concerning. Well, Smallville's got some moments though.
But it has cool moments, but a lot of it is like all relationships of like crossing over things, and it's okay. If you want something to watch and you love Marvel, it's worth watching, but not the greatest.
I guess let's get this out of the way. I was down on the last episode. I still like the show as a whole. I am full sending the rest of the show. I was really hoping that episode 4 finally did something, and I'm dude, like finally.
What didn't you like about episode 3 though? I mean, I know you already went over it.
Episode 3 was a little campy for me. I think it went on too long. We know something's happening, and once again, I don't want to get too far into it.
I don't want to speak for you, but the thing that stood out to me that you said is where is the Marvel in this show?
That's not what I said. That was a quote that I gave.
Oh, so you're just regurgitating, not even your own opinion. Cool.
I like it.
You're such a
No. The reason I asked is because I thought that the point was to be campy. I thought that they were really pulling together how ridiculous and out of place everything is, and yet it's still being held together.
That's exactly the point. I don't mind that. It's just we were getting a lot of that and not enough of the other stuff. It's
But
like
if you watched it all,
you
at
are
the
lukewarm
end,
and I spit you out of my mouth.
But if you watched this at the end all in a row without having to wait for a week, you wouldn't have that same opinion.
See, that's what he said. And I think
after
that
an episode like this,
and I think that speaks to the time length of the episodes. We have the same complaint for Mandalorian.
Right.
I don't understand where the money is
are
going.
we just spoiled? Are we spoiled?
No,
Like,
because
everybody grew up having to
didn't
wait
feel
a
like
week for an episode.
I didn't feel like this for Mandalorian.
But that's part of the spoiling.
No, I don't agree with that.
I'm just throwing it out there. Like,
No,
Now Netflix did try to spoil everyone by binge dropping everything, but that is going away.
we talked about that, and even so when Stranger Things came out, me and Natasha watched 1 week an episode. We did not watch the whole thing. It was, oh my god, did you see Stranger Things? It was this. It was no spoiler.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're watching it 1 episode at a time.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. And once again, if you look at it compared to Mandalorian, I didn't have the same feeling at parts of Mandalorian as I did in the 3rd episode, where I'm like, okay, let's get to it. We got to it, so let's talk about getting to it. Episode 4 was ridiculous.
Yes.
We kind of went back in the timeline to explain the things that we already knew.
Backwards.
A lot of forwards and backwards. But I did like, kind of like you said, you're like, Connor, you're watching the show with ADD. I'm not going to say you're right. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But it was nice to get explanations.
Yeah. And I liked how it jumped back to a lot of the things that you saw happen, which were like quirky, crazy, weird, like lost moments where you don't know what's going on. And then you got to see in this episode the current timeline, like post Endgame timeline of them going into that world, or like her flying the drone, which looked entirely different than the drone looked like when it actually shows up in the WandaVision version of the universe. Or the guy whose outfit ended up being the beekeeper was in a completely different hazmat suit, and how WandaVision's show was like changing things to at least somewhat make them fit into whatever the genre of that show episode was.
Before we get into, there's so many Easter eggs for this episode, and I don't want to give you a full breakdown because that would take a long time. There are plenty of YouTube videos that explain it better than I think that we could, even with the information that is provided in front of us. Let's just talk about, like, getting to Westview. What was your first, like, now that we have a broader explanation as to what's going on, what is your thought right now where she finally meets Jimmy, that being Monica?
Yeah.
And she gets assigned to this missing person case. And
Which
he's
his first appearance was on Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yes. And there's a cool Easter egg, because when he comes up to her and he goes, Jimmy, woo, and he shows his card, Ant-Man teaches him that magic trick when he's under house arrest.
Oh my god, yeah, that's right.
And he's learning how to do the sleight of hand in Ant-Man.
Yes.
He still doesn't know it in... Is it Ant-Man 2? I can't remember.
Ant-Man 2 and
He
the Wasp.
He still doesn't know it, and now we're further in the timeline, he can do it, right? That's really, really
I like
cool.
that. I did not
That's
catch
really,
that.
really cool.
The only thing I'm worried about is this your opinion, or did someone else tell you that and you're just...
I will push you over in that chair right now. That's cool. No, it's not it's not someone else's opinion. It's cool. I didn't find out that Easter egg. Of course I looked it up. Like, my goodness, I'm not an anthology of everything Marvel.
I love that, though.
But now that we established it's not a missing person case, it's a missing town case. So
And the whole weird cop thing, like, there's no town called Westview.
it's
Eastview,
we're
right?
Eastview.
Yeah.
Did you notice that when they drive off, we never see them drive off?
No.
Didn't catch
They
that,
leave. They go. They're gone. And then she gets the drone and she flies it in and it disappears.
I know, that's just like a plot hole.
Well, Yeah, maybe
I guess
they
it,
didn't see
it
them
could be
drive
taken
away.
either way. Like, people on the internet could craft that into meaning a weird little, like...
Something.
You're a plot.
I saw some people who are like, did you see the license plate? The license plate had 9s and 6s, and if we turn that 9 upside down, it's 666, which is Mephisto. Like, they're just saying, like, if you turn the 9 upside down, it looks just like a 6. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's reaching. I'll go with
way
it.
too far.
Yeah.
I thought the license plate said out of time, but
No, it's not the license plate. It's the unit number of the car. Yeah, yeah. No, he's talking. What's your take on exactly what's going on now after this episode? Because let's talk about the episode of a whole, and then we'll break down some of this other stuff.
Wait, so are we doing theories, or what do you mean exactly?
What's just your impression as to what's going on? What did you like? What didn't you like?
I mean, I definitely get the impression, which is kind of what I thought from the beginning, that this is not WandaVision, or this is not Wanda being captured and forced into doing something, and this
Which was one of our theories.
This is what I think she's in control of everything.
Yes.
I don't think it's her being detained in any way.
So the theory. Oh, so go.
Which
sorry.
it was a lot more questionable until this episode, and I think that once you see this episode, you're like, oh yeah, no, this is her, because it literally says this is all her. What's her? Oh man, what's the girls from Mjolnir? The girl that from the Thor movie that couldn't say Thor's hammer's name.
Anna, isn't it Anna something?
Yeah, I really loved her character.
I love seeing her come back.
Yeah,
and this is cool. Like what Feige said in the Disney Investor Day. Putting so much emphasis on having to watch these shows to understand new Phase 4 Marvel, it's cool to see this happen, and it already is making me wonder, is this somehow tying into Thor Love and Thunder?
I feel like it has to in some way, because we know that Natalie Portman's going to be back in that movie, and they were
friends.
Yeah, they
They
were
worked
best
together.
friends, studied together. Like, I feel like it's all... I mean, that's what Marvel does, man. They take the time to, like, draw out those strings a long time before they connect.
And we were talking off mic about Age of Ultron. Now, one thing that happens at the end of Age of Ultron with the second Avengers headquarters that gets built after the end of Age of Ultron, the professor that Natalie and Anna, I can't remember if that's her name, but like, you know, the old guy that they're with?
Yeah, the guy from the first Thor movie, the old man. Yeah.
So I can't remember if he's an astrologist or if he's also a basically like an astrophysicist. I can't remember.
Astronomer?
Anyway, he thought he was an astronomer.
Well, because she's an astrophysicist.
But Natalie and him are more. The point is he gets brought in by Thor to find this fountain where he sees the vision of Vision, which leads me to my theory, but he's now like ahead in the Avengers like core group of people that lead to the events of Civil War. Mm-hmm. So the point is like she would have had ties through him to know some of this stuff, and that's why she was brought on, because she would be a field lead that has already known about Mjolnir and Thor and all this stuff, right? So my theory that I put on the Facebook group was basically like, the MCU has already established that the Discord,
multiverse,
not the multiverse, but that the Infinity Stones cannot be destroyed.
Okay. They have to scatter like Dragon Balls.
They can only be destroyed by themselves, because Wanda is created by the Mind Stone. That's why Wanda can destroy the Mind Stone in Infinity War.
Right.
The Asian guy who's an apprentice of Doctor Strange, he's the one that says they cannot be destroyed by external power, only by themselves. So if you wield an Infinity Stone, you can destroy another Infinity Stone. So Beans is how Wanda is the essence and gets her powers from the Mind Stone, and Vision is also the culmination.
If she has her powers, he has to be alive.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So if the Mind Stone exists, because they've now scattered, because not only did Thanos, but Tony, they both did snaps, right? So they're rescattered again. So because the stone exists somewhere in the MCU, that's why Wanda still has her powers, and that's why Vision also exists. So he exists inside this world that she has created, but because he is the Mind Stone, he will find his way out. And where he's slowly piecing these things together to realize that his essence, his mind, can be transferred outside of this realm that Wanda has created. He has he has the same power as the stone that she has.
Okay, I follow more. So you're saying like eventually he will escape and break through that barrier and be Vision in current time.
And because somebody has said you can't escape. Remember that's been said multiple times now. It's escaping.
You can never get out.
You can never escape. And he's going to figure out, hey, this is somebody is holding me here. I can manifest myself. I have the same power that she has.
At the end of episode 3, she didn't rewind him. She doesn't know that he realized weird things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another Yeah.
My take on the episode, I didn't know if you were going to keep going or if you were petering out there. But my take on the episode is that she took over the town of Eastview.
Yes.
She's controlling everything or trying to hold together everything that's going on inside the town. She has control over these people, but they're all acting in line with how they should to survive and get through whatever is going on. That's why,
because they're all a lot of them are sword members, which we started finding out. In this
Continue,
episode.
and I'm going to follow up on that.
Yeah, I don't agree that Vision is sentient on his own just yet. I think she's keeping him animated by her power.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that she's using
she
her
may
power
have she
from
may
the
have
Mind
even
Stone.
repaired his circuitry so that he can exist without the stone being attached.
I like that
she may have been able.
different...
Yeah, because she may have been able to do what the Wakandians couldn't do. Because they didn't have enough. She didn't have enough time to get it finished.
I was about to bring that up. That's where my canon explanation of the MCU comes in, because they establish that him and the stone have become one already. What is Vision is the Mind Stone, and with some time they could have salvaged him, but they're one. So if the stone is out there, so is he. Even before Thor in Age of Ultron brings down the lightning and energizes because he sees the vision from the well of whatever and says, this is what we need to be Ultron, which is what happens. He says, like, at the center of the universe is, and he's talking about the Mind Stone. They were already one at that point. And so when Vision is animated, he says, I am not Ultron, I am not whatever, like, I am my own person. So he is like the embodiment of the Mind Stone.
Right. I mean,
my theory is kind of on the same path as both of you, but then goes different. I think that they're leaning into Phase 4 of Marvel being all about multiverses. And I think that this is Wanda creating a bubble that is crossing over into different multiverses, which is why different episodes are different timelines, and it's why it's Vision who is still alive. I think she's trying to create a black hole, or like a tear, if we're talking like string theory style multiverses. I don't know where they're going to go, because all we know that the Doctor Strange movie is Doctor Strange the Multiverse
of Mayhem.
Of Madness.
We know that
Multiverse
there is
of Madness.
a lot of Spider-Man rumors that it's hard to nail down what's been confirmed officially and what hasn't been, but talk about maybe all 3 Spider-Man, a Tobey Maguire, a Garfield,
Miles
and
Morales.
Oh yeah, and a Miles Morales, which had already like there's already the multiverse in the Miles
Spider-Verse,
Morales movie.
yeah. Into the Spider-Verse.
I'm thinking that this is kind of this. It's the same and it's different. I think that they're leaning into Phase 4 being all about multiverses, and that's what her weird distortion and her weird bubble is, tearing into a different multiverse and trying to bring Vision from one of those multiverses into hers.
There is MCU canon to support that, like Gamora being dead, being sacrificed. That's why Black Widow can't come back, but she's able to come back through a multiverse, through a time loop, right? But that's not a multiverse. That's time travel. The reason why I bring that up is I think that parts of this show are hard for us to determine what is Wanda trying to make a reality and what is Wanda's past haunting her. Because we see Vision dead. We see
Flash to the gray and the big cavern in the forehead.
We see what he looks like in Infinity War when the Mind Stone is taken from his forehead.
Which there is a version of Vision who is an all-gray version of Vision.
It was like his original, something like that.
Yeah, it's
right?
an old version, yeah.
Yeah. So what are we seeing? Are we seeing a multiverse? Or are we seeing
memories
the emotional scars of Wanda and her creating this world where everything's okay because she doesn't have to deal with the reality of her brother being dead, the love of her life being gone, all these things, right?
I don't know.
Her children not being real.
The thing that I am excited, though, is when we did the math of them starting at the 50s.
Yes.
And we did, like, if every episode is a decade.
You know what's next.
We had 2 extra episodes, and we're like, could it be, like, 2 episodes at the end? here's one of those episodes.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna have an 80s and 90s and a 2000s and a 2010s, and then a final episode.
This next episode, I think, is where we're finally going to see a lot of the things that we see from the TV spotlights, the promos, where they're in their original costumes. So we're going to get like
we know
a
we have
80s Halloween.
We know we have the Halloween episode, which I'm guessing it has to be the 80s.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
And we know
too.
that they already said there's going to be a Full House episode, which is going to have to be the 90s.
Yeah. Back to what Camping Comedian said. The citizens of Westview, they are all real people. This is established in the
You see
sword.
him doing the billboard of pinning the photos to the IDs to all that.
It's so weird that
I like that they say like so and so is played by so and so.
yeah, it's like it's literally a sitcom. Like
Yeah.
you know, she gets a CBR television
Yeah.
to do all this stuff. Once again, our theory was like, who's communicating with her? It's Jimmy Woo. Let's just talk about Jimmy Woo real quick. Once again, from S.H.I.E.L.D. Going in, he's also Ant-Man.
One of the
in
oldest
the Ant-Man movies.
One of the oldest Marvel characters ever. Before the comics, Jimmy Woo was a Marvel character.
This went around on Twitter, apparently, as I was saying in the Facebook group. I was like, I want more of Jimmy. I can't remember the person who tweeted this, but it went viral. I want like a buddy cop. He said something about X-Files. Forget X-Files. Like, that's super serious. I want like Jimmy Woo being funny. I want a buddy cop thing with like, he has like a girl sidekick, a girl partner, and they like are just trying to figure out these weird Marvel things that they're just way over their head in.
Yeah.
But they already have their feet wet because of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these other things.
He's working on his close-up magic.
Yeah, yes. It's like, hey, like they're interviewing the perp. He's like handcuffed in the back of the car. He's like, hey, pick a card. Like, like something like that. I like the actor. It's funny, like everyone's making
His
the
voice
John.
is annoying, though.
What? You think so?
Sometimes his voice,
What?
he has a little shrill voice.
I'd like
small.
to see them cut to his restaurant where he's serving. He's the lead character in Fresh Off the Boat.
I don't know
Oh
what that
yeah,
show
that's
is.
true. Yeah, that's true.
This guy.
He doesn't. He's
What's Fresh Off the
uncultured.
Boat?
It's a show. Never mind.
What?
Oh wait, I did see that show. Yes. I didn't watch it all the way through, but yes, I know that show you're talking about. Yes, I've seen many of episodes. I know exactly.
I forgot. If it's not Friends, you haven't watched a sitcom in the last 20 years.
How dare you? That's my wife.
Scrolls.
You are your wife.
On the whiteboard, Jimmy Woo suggests that the Skrulls might be behind all of this. If you noticed a few years ago when the blip came back, we have already established that
We know the Skrulls are there.
We know the Skrulls are there, and the Invasion is a show coming to Disney Plus, which is about the Skrulls.
Best comic line ever.
And also at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming, the person standing at the end of the hallway at the end of the movie is supposed to be a Skrull, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and at the end of Captain Marvel, you see the Skrulls
Yep.
like just living and like
and somebody just discovered this. Have you guys seen the thing where people just figured out that? When's the last time you watched Captain Marvel: The First Avenger? Sorry, Captain America: The First Avenger.
Jeez, it's got to be 5 years plus.
So in his battalion, in his group, there's an Asian American that's part of his thing in World War II, right? That guy is the principal for Peter Parker in Homecoming.
Oh, nice.
Same actor.
Wow.
Same actor. Now, people are like, oh, same actor, MCU, whatever. You know, they got to sign paychecks and people at the end of the day. But when he's in the office telling him, hey, you missed your it's not a spell. What the heck are
Assignment?
they? No, what the hell do they do their field trip in freaking Europe? It's like it's a triathlon of smartness.
Oh, the mathlete.
They're not mathletes.
There wasn't a mathlete?
No, they're not mathletes. Anyway, he goes there. It's not Europe, but anyway, he's like, you didn't show up, blah, 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 blah. And he's sitting to him and he's talking to him in his office, and his friend is outside waiting. So we get the outside view of Peter sitting in the office. Well, on the desk above on a filing cabinet of the principal is him in a World War II outfit.
Oh, nice.
So
he's like
a scroll.
It's probably like a post-written like.
No. I'll show you. It's
No,
not.
no.
It's-
I'm saying like they probably like
retconned it.
Yeah, like retcon that to it, but like that's amazing.
Yeah, the point is that kind of like what you're saying, multiverse. We have a lot of things going on that are within the MCU.
MCU's got long game for days,
And Feige has proven that time and time again that there's just a ton of stuff coming up. So I really enjoyed this episode. I think we all did.
I can't wait for the next. I want another. I want Ultra Camp.
3 a.m. Friday morning.
Freaking this guy.
Literally.
Did you see it yet?
Tell them what you're talking about.
I literally walk into the office every morning because I work with this
Yahoo.
Well, yeah, whatever you want to call
This-
him. And I have to pass his little office on the way to my big office.
My senior office.
Just
sir.
because you write it on a name tag doesn't make it true. And
Did you get
every,
it?
every Friday morning when an episode of something that we're waiting for comes on, I've already watched it on before I get to work, and I ask him every time, "Did you see the episode yet?" And he gets so mad because he hasn't, and then I throw mini spoilers and try to irritate him and go.
Like,
to bed to
so
watch
many
it.
things happen. You're gonna love the part where this happens. I'm like, you.
I'm super excited. I like the idea. I think this episode has really concreted the idea that Wanda, to not knowing herself, is the villain of the show.
So you were saying you concreted that idea.
Oh yeah, if you
think
like,
Wanda's the villain?
By the way that she treats Monica when Monica brings up her brother and Ultron and everything, and the way that she yeets her out of her universe.
I think she's just keeping any
I don't know
negative
if I'd say
stuff and
villain.
anything tied to the past out of her little world is what she's trying to do.
Villain without her knowing. Like, if you look at it from the bubble perspective of trapping all these people in, that's villainous.
She's trying to accomplish something which could be
Is
good
her
for,
own agenda.
good for everybody, but it could seem bad to
Good for her, bad for everybody else. That's villainous.
But bringing
That
Vision
was your
back,
idea. What do you?
but bringing-
you're like disagreeing with me. You literally brought this up last week. You're like, yeah, Wanda's gonna be the villain of the whole thing. What? Like, I'm agreeing with you. You're like, yeah, listen, I don't know about this whole thing. Like, what is wrong with you?
I'm just trying to be divisive.
No, you're not.
So,
Oh my gosh.
two little things that they glossed past that I'm super excited about is when we go back to Monica going through Sword.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest favorite baddies ever is Galactus,
Yes.
and they bring a specific word.
I think
in.
this is reaching, by the way.
It could be reaching,
I think it's reaching.
but it could be. Is it reaching or is it setting up for maybe not this show, but maybe later in Phase 4? They use the word cosmic.
They do.
And with cosmic in the Marvel Universe, that is a very specific word to use. They also reference...
Cosmic Spider-Man is the best.
They
Just throwing
also...
that out there.
Spider-Man... Cosmic Spider-Man is the best? What about... I like Ben with
Anyway,
Scarlet Spider-Man.
I think that just because people say cosmic, everyone's like, oh my god, Galactus. It's already been kind of like... I don't want to say confirmed, but there's a lot of rumors and things that lead towards... Galactus is not the next big villain in Phase 4.
But they also... That word also could be something else, which they also reference in this same little stint of dialogue. Is a reference that there is an astronaut program that is struggling. Astronaut program and cosmic is Fantastic Four.
And that's already been confirmed during the Investor
Yes.
Day. They've already said that they're revisiting
So,
Fantastic Four.
Are they going to do it right? Are they ever going to get it right?
If they take their time...
They've had so much time,
And
and they've done how many reboots? I mean,
but this is the first
it
time
3?
MCU.
it's at least 3.
This is the first time MCU. That's all been Sony garbage, where they're literally rebooting and pumping
Sony
movies.
wasn't all garbage.
Did you not
No,
like...
not at first, but later Sony turned into. They had a specific contract that said they had to push out a new movie X amount of years, so they would push a movie out to keep their Fantastic Four license, whether it was a good movie
And
or
the
not.
thing
just
is one
to
of
hold
my
the license.
all-time favorite characters, and he just always gets...
Silver Surfer. When you say cosmic, I think Silver Surfer.
Who is the Hand of Galactus?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Why does he feel sorry for the Earthlings?
I think
let
that-
it get blown.
I think that Silver Surfer was done well in those versions of Fantastic Four, even though the Fantastic Four
He
movies...
looked good, but
he
he
looked-
wasn't done well.
You don't think so? That's a whole other thing. Anyway, final thoughts. Let's wrap up this segment as far as this
want
episode. You
this
said
show-
Galactic. You're hoping that leads somewhere.
Fantastic Four Galactus. I think that's a tiny little like first seed planted for that to grow into that.
Yeah.
I think that the next episode is going to have to go full 80s camp again, which like sitcom crazy, like over the top. I'm looking forward to canned laughter and every bit of it.
Okay.
Or have they opened up the modern what's happening, and we're not going to get that?
Do you think the next episode we're going to get cuts back and forth? Or do you think it's going to stay full episode?
Yeah, I think that we are going to now have... I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that we're now going to have a straight 50-50 of what's happening in the show and the sword agents watching it real time.
Because there's not enough time left.
Well, because we've
we've
also caught up to that point
Right.
where we were at episode 3. Now everybody, including us, the Avatar, the people watching the show, are with the sword agents also watching the show.
Because halfway through this next episode, we're halfway through the season, and then we're into the second half.
And once again, this is a mini series.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting 8 episodes. Like we're
Wait,
getting
9. I thought. 9.
Oh, 9?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was only 8.
No, it's 9.
Okay, well, we're getting another one. So halfway through, 47% of the way through, we need to get going. What's the big picture here? How is this leading into more Phase 4? Because I don't think that we are going to be having isolated stories, because that's just never been the MCU way.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's tied into each other. And we know we have the Falcon and Winter Soldier show coming out, which could directly tie into this, for all we know.
That was my theory, is that... Well, that theory's kind of been debunked at that point, but I do think that it's going to tie in somehow. They don't know where Wanda is, anyway. Camping comedian, anything else?
No, I think we covered everything.
Buy and hold.
Diamond
hands.
Only go up.
Buy and hold it. Buy and hold it.
Don't be a paper hands.
Nope, diamond hands forever.
You can't lose money if you don't sell the stock. I mean, that's pretty much covers everything.
Very excited about the show. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this coverage. Check out the YouTube. I think we've talked about this before. I think we're going to be splitting this up into a playlist where you can
break up the segments.
Yeah, we'll be breaking it up just so that you can have that too.
I like that idea.
But once again, I'm enjoying the show more than I did earlier, and I think it can only go up from here.
And now let's move into...
Thank you very much for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. I was your boy. It's KonKon, of course. And sitting across from me, the PR man himself, straight from Puerto Rico.
Buenos noches.
And the camping comedian.
The camping comedian who's highly offended that we did not talk about the book.